Hello, welcome to PM Home Edition. I'm Sean McMullen with Sighthound Home Services. Today we're going to be looking at electrical disconnects and natural gas shutoff valves throughout the house. These are important because you need to know where they're at and how to operate them in case of an emergency, so it is a safety aspect. We're going to start in the kitchen and then we'll go around and look at all the other appliances involved inside the house. Let's take a look. Okay, here underneath the sink, we're going to look at the dishwasher connections, disconnections. This gray cord underneath here is plugged into an outlet. That outlet is for the dishwasher. The black cord, as you can see, is going to the garbage disposal. So if there's an emergency with the dishwasher and you need to remove power, you can come down here and pull that plug out, and now you have no more power to the dishwasher. Or if there's maintenance or swapping out the appliance, that's one way. Some appliances, some dishwashers are hardwired, meaning there's just a wire coming out of the wall and goes straight to the appliance itself. In that case, you'd have to kill the power at the breaker panel. This particular house has a gas stove with gas appliances or gas range. There should be a shutoff valve within 6 feet of that appliance so that you can, again, turn the supply off so you can change out the appliance, or if there's an emergency, you can get to it. As you can see here, there's a disconnect behind all these goodies in here. I'm sorry, there's a shutoff valve. So it's important to know where they're at and make sure there's not like a toaster oven or some heavy piece of small appliance sitting in front of it, because if there's an emergency, we need to be able to open this up, reach in here, turn that valve off, and close it up. Some appliances, some ranges will have a shutoff valve behind the stove. That is not ideal, because if there's an emergency on the range, you don't want to have to reach across it or move that appliance out of the way to turn the supply off. Okay, here we are at the electrical panel. This is the sub panel. It's actually in the garage, and you can see up here we have breakers, one for the dishwasher and the disposal. So again, if you did want to unplug the appliance underneath the sink, you can come to the electrical panel and you can flip that breaker, and that'll disconnect power to that outlet. If you had an electric range, they're usually plugged in behind the range. So to be able to easily turn the power off, you would come to your sub panel and flip that switch. Now, sub panels normally are going to be in a laundry room, a garage, a hallway, master closet, areas like this. You should be aware of it and then know where, make sure it's labeled properly so you know what circuit goes to which. But then you know if you need to turn something off or if something trips, you can access it and correct that situation here. Sub panels don't have to have a main breaker going to them in that panel. That will be in the actual electrical main, which I'll show you here in just a minute as well. This particular house has 2 water heaters, and you can see they are gas. We have a shutoff right here to turn the fuel off to the water heater itself. And then this unit back here has a separate gas shutoff going in to the unit. So if there was a problem with the water heater, I could turn the fuel off so it would no longer heat. This is not turning the water supply off, this is just turning off the energy used to heat the appliance. Now here we are in the attic looking at the furnace, and again you can see there is a shutoff valve right here that feeds the furnace. So if there is an issue or concern, you can turn that off there, or if there's maintenance that need to happen, they can just turn the power off just to that one appliance. If it was an electric unit, there would be a switch or disconnect something, should be within 6 feet of the appliance so that they can, the technician can disconnect power or fuel while they're right there with it. And here we are on the outside condenser unit for the air conditioner. This particular house has a lattice work around it. As long as you have adequate airflow into the unit, that's fine. But this discussion is mainly about the disconnect. So for someone to come to actually work on this unit, they'd come in here, open this up, and then on top there, you pull this handle out, flip it around, and it completely disconnects the power to the unit so you can safely work on it. If something was to occur and I need to kill the power to the unit, this is one option. Otherwise, you go to the breaker panel. This particular house is in the main breaker panel, which we'll slide over to, and I'll show you how to disconnect those powers as well. Here we are at the main panel on the outside of the house. When you open this up, you can see you got the main power coming into the house. This is everything, so it's labeled as main. But then we have a sub feed here. This turns off all the power to that sub panel that's in the garage. So if I need to kill power to the house, I can come out here, I can flip that. Now, the air conditioner has its own breaker over here. So if I don't want to crawl behind the air conditioning unit to disconnect the power, I can come over here and I can flip this breaker, and that will turn the power off to that. So it's good to know where these disconnects and these shutoffs are. So if there's an emergency, you can stop the fuel going to the source, whether it be electrical or gas, whether it be propane or natural gas. Let me show you where the gas meter is and how you would turn that off if you're having a problem for the whole house. Now the gas meter is actually on the other side of the house at this property, but this is going to be your main gas, and then right here is going to be your shutoff that you'd have to use a wrench to get that to turn. Mainly used if you don't pay your gas bill, they'll come out here and they'll turn that off, and then they will put a lock on it so you have no gas until you pay your bill. But that is the main coming into the house. Hey, we got a little lizard. How you doing, little lizard? But that is the main coming into the house. So if there's a problem with a gas leak in the house, or it's not directly associated with the appliance, whether it be the furnace or the water heater or the range, then you could turn it off here if you had a wrench while you're waiting for the gas company to come out. Today we went through the entire house looking at various appliances and their disconnects, whether they be electrical or natural gas. Realize how important it is to have access throughout the year, so definitely check it on an annual basis to make sure you maintain access to it for maintenance or an emergency situation. Please hit the subscribe button at the bottom, like our page, and until next time, this is Sean McMullen with Sighthound Home Services. Thank you for watching PM Home Edition.